Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making bagels. It's a bit of a process, it's a little bit messy, slightly time consuming, but once you try these bagels, you're not going to want store-bought. Okay, I'm not rushing, but trying to fit this in so this can sit to rise. I've got a fussy toddler and a furnace repairman coming, so let's get into making this dough right away. So we need 1.5 cups of lukewarm to on the cooler side of water. Do not use hot water. 1.5 cups goes in. Then we need 2¼ teaspoons of your dry, of your dry yeast. 1, 2, and a little pinch. All right. We'll give it a little bit of a mix here. All right, I found a little bit better lighting for you guys. I'm also gonna just toss a pinch of white sugar in here. Give it a little stir again. All right, we're just gonna make sure that this blooms, so I'll show you when that happens. Okay, you guys can see here that it is bubbling and frothy looking. That's what you wanna see, so we can move on. Okay, now we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This does not make it overly sweet at all. It just adds a touch of that deep flavoring that you're gonna want. Okay, so we need bread flour, which I don't have at the moment, but I do have wheat gluten and all-purpose flour. So you can make your own bread flour at home if you have wheat gluten. What you need to do is for every cup of all-purpose flour, you take out 1.5 teaspoons. Let me double check. Yeah, 1.5 teaspoons, and you replace it with wheat gluten. You need a stronger gluten bond to replace an all-purpose flour, which is a lower gluten bond. So we will do that. This is gonna call for 4 cups of bread flour total. So what I'm gonna first do actually is add in my salt, which is 1 tablespoon. And I will write this all in the description for you guys so that you don't have to follow my wonky instructions right now. Okay, so we got our salt in. Let's start with 2 cups of flour. Got a big old container down here. I'll show you guys. This is how I store my flour currently. It's pretty airtight. It's not completely airtight, but I've stored my flour in this forever and never had any problems. So I'm gonna start with 1 cup of flour. Then I'm gonna get my 2nd cup of flour. And I'm gonna take out the 1.5 teaspoons for each cup. So we'll do 4, so it'll be 5¼ 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little pinch. We're gonna just dump this 2nd cup in, and now we're gonna replace with the wheat gluten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little pinch. Now, let me check here. Okay, so now we're gonna get it going. The reason you kind of want to add 2 cups to begin with is because everybody's elevation and things like that, different measuring cups change the consistency. So you don't want to add too much flour. You can always add more, you can't take away. So I start with 2. You could probably start with 3 and save your last cup because it's definitely going to need at least 1 more cup. So let's see what it needs ultimately. So we'll get 1 more cup in there. And we'll turn this up a little. Bring it closer. Need to get a better setup here. So we got our brown sugar, we got obviously our water and our yeast, our salt, our bread flour is going. So that's all we're gonna need for the dough part of this. Once this comes together though, I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna do half of these plain and half a jalapeno cheddar. So I'm excited for those. Very, very good. Okay, so it is looking, sorry, I keep looking in the wrong spot. I'll get better at this, I promise. It is looking like it needs a bit more flour. So I'm gonna add in about 1/3 cup out of our cup that's left. Turn it down a little till it's incorporated, and then I'll show you guys then what it's looking like. My neighbor must have been feeling the bread vibes today too. She didn't make these, but she dropped these off. She had extra breads from Wegmans. I don't know if you guys have a Wegmans. It's just a grocery store, but they make fantastic breads. I think this one I might turn into croutons or breadcrumbs. I do have a couple of these in the freezer. She's so nice. She gets extra. They donate to the community, and sometimes she just gets so much that she can't even give it away to donation sites, which is crazy, but it's a blessing that this grocery store does that. All right, I'm pulling this out of the mixture, pulling this out of the KitchenAid mixer to just kind of feel it and see. It's been a while since I've made bagels, so I do know you want this to be a little smoother. So we're gonna keep going. I let the mixer do it for a couple minutes, and you know, most people do this on the table, but I didn't want to get my whole table covered in flour right now. So I'm just gonna do this by hand, probably throw it back in the mixer for a little bit, then divide it and add my cheese and jalapenos to one batch. Okay guys, this is what you're looking for more or less. See how it's smoothed out? It doesn't look like it's tearing anymore. I'm gonna let it go one more minute, and it's pretty much there. Okay, I've got my dough ball here. I'm just gonna give it a good chop in half. All done. All done, thank you. This I'm gonna reshape, plop into a bowl, and cover it. I'll show you. And this I'm gonna throw back in and add my jalapenos and cheese. Okay, here are our delicious dough balls. This is the plain, and this is the jalapeno cheddar, as you can see. Yeah, you can see. Hold on one second. So then you're gonna cover them with a damp tea towel, thin towel, whatever you got. And I'm gonna set mine in my bread proofing option on my oven, because you really want this to sit in about 70 degrees or higher to fully activate the yeast in there. And my house just isn't that warm. So we're gonna put it in on bread proof for about 1.5 to 2 hours until it's at least doubled in size. I had a thought too about adding the wheat gluten. You might not wanna do it how I did it. You might wanna do it per actual cup that you're putting in and mix it into the cup, because I did add more flour, so I almost used my 4 cups, but you might not use your whole 4 cups. So you might want to just add your wheat gluten to your individual cups of all-purpose flour, or if you have bread flour, you don't have to worry about it. All right, toddler is down, repairman came. I am starting to drag a bit. I was up early, went to a dermatologist appointment. So I made an iced latte, which will only aggravate my rosacea. I figure I might as well take you guys along with me for my dinner plans, because I'm going to prep, we call it like chimichurri, or I found this mixture on a fish Barbados recipe. So that's what it is in my recipe book, but I think technically it's more of a chimichurri. And I think we're gonna put it over steaks tonight. Typically we do fish, but I want to try it on steaks tonight. I think it would be so good and fresh. It is winter here in New York. We don't actually have that much snow. We just had a crazy snowstorm a couple weeks ago, but it has all melted now. Anyways, I digress. I think I'm gonna make the steak with the chimichurri on it. Has anyone tried radish as a potato substitute. I saw a good little recipe. I mean, it looked good, of like a smashed potato, like garlic, salt, all that, rosemary, but with radishes. So I think I'm gonna try that and a little side salad tonight, try and eat healthier, and besides the steak, a little bit lighter. So anyway, let's go make the chimichurri so it can be marinating. Turn the flash on so you guys can see. It's getting very dark here. Look how delicious. So fresh, vibrant. Oh my gosh, it tastes so good. Just tried it. And this will just go on top of the steak. I'll sear the steak probably inside, although my husband has been saying he'll grill. We'll see. And then finish it off in the oven just for a couple minutes. It's gonna be mostly uncooked, still fresh, delicious. Okay, it's been about 2 hours and they look about double. They feel pretty good, so we're just gonna move ahead with it. I had a nice little shot of the chimichurri blending, but I guess it didn't record or I lost that footage, so sorry. But back to the bagels. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a rise out of these. They weren't quite doubled, but you know, I had let them sit for over 2 hours in a warm spot. So I figured let's just go for it. So then you divide them into 4s. If you're doing one dough, you would get obviously 8 out of it. I just take a little chopstick that I have and poke a hole, spin them around. You're gonna want to boil them in water with 2 tablespoons of your brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Important step. For about 30 seconds or so. Then you take them out, put them on your cornmeal, egg wash them, and you can add anything on top. Okay, here's how they're looking, and they're ready to pop in the oven at 425 for 20 minutes. Here they are, y'all, all done and looking delicious. I will slice one open when they cool a little bit and show you. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and exploring bagel making. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and wishing you peace, love, and good health. By the way, dinner was fantastic and the radishes were amazing.